Welcome to Transform Your Mind, Body, and Spirit with Lisa Dwoskin. Lisa has been a fitness professional for the past 20 years, as well as a fitness competitor. She's now a life coach and is ready to help educate and guide you with nutrition, exercise techniques, and positive mindset. You're invited to call in and ask Lisa any question about how you can jumpstart your very own transformation and become a better you. Call toll-free 1-800-889-0267. Visit her website at lisadwoskin.com or visit her on Facebook at BBL Fitness. Do you want to be healthier, happier, and live a longer and more fulfilled life? Then get ready to transform your mind, body, and spirit and to emerge a new you. Now here's Lisa.
Hi, and welcome to Transform Your Mind, Body, Spirit. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Lisa.
We have a beautiful, beautiful show coming up today on twin flames and soulmates and unconditional love. First, I want to thank my sponsors. Hi, Freddie. How are you?
Hello, Lisa.
Everything good with you today?
Everything's fantastic.
So, Children's Medical Research Institute, thank you again for the sponsorship. And Dr. Luis Escobar, thank you very much. Grand Palms Golf and Country Club Resort, where we're filming Change Your Game with Mr. Lawrence Taylor. How are you liking that show, Freddie?
It's an interesting show. Where is Mr. LT?
He's in New York doing something. I don't know. I can't keep
Good
up
to be
with
the
him.
king, right?
I know, he's traveling a lot. He told me, hold tight for July, June and July. I got to travel everywhere.
Wow, I hate to be him.
I know,
Listen,
right?
where can you see today's show, Lisa?
At lisadwoskin.com, lisadwoskin.com, or,
And 2.tv.
right, yeah.
Are you going to be taking phone calls today?
Oh, yes.
Might be a good thing if you give out that number.
Isn't it good that he produces me a little bit? Okay, 1-800 or 800-889-0267. Do you have to put a 1 in front of there?
I don't know. Just
Okay.
do it anyway.
Call us. We want to hear from you about what you feel about twin flames, about soulmates.
And what does that mean?
We're going to get into that.
'Cause,
Hold your horses.
I brought candles. Did I do the right thing?
You're so funny. Oh, gosh. Okay, so before we jump into the show, we're going to talk a little bit about my second book, since you're always telling me to
You
promote
wrote
my
a second book?
books. I did.
Wow.
My first book is Metamorphosize. You can find that on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles or at lisadwoskin.com. And it's a great, great book. How many people in here have read it? You guys haven't read it. Freddie read it.
Yeah,
I've read it.
Oh, yeah, you read the first? No,
Oh,
the
no,
second. You're one of the two that read the second book. I got to give you all the first book. It's
He's
a
one of
great
two
book.
people that read the second book. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, yep.
Two people.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Only
outta
two. No, because
town.
it's not out yet. It's
Oh.
a manuscript. I haven't published
So what is
it
it?
yet.
What is it that I'm putting up on the screen? Isn't that the
No,
book?
that's my first book. That's been out about a
Oh.
year and a half, and that's a memoir.
That's the one I
about-
read.
Yeah, exactly. About my life journey into spiritual enlightenment. It's a beautiful book. So the second book is about twin flames and soulmates and self-love, unconditional love. So before we jump into the different topics we have about it, let's talk about my documentary I'm doing with Mr. Ronaldo. What's your last name?
Bahaman.
Okay. Bahama. I like the
Bahama Mama.
Bahamas. So anyway, he's doing a documentary, film documentary, on my book, which I'm so excited about. And we're going to, what is the word I'm looking for? Submit it to the Sundance Film Festival, which is so exciting. So talk about the documentary a little bit.
Well, the book at the moment is, you have it called Soulful Love, and so at the moment it's technically titled, the documentary is also called Soulful Love, which is basically just telling stories of soulmates and twin flames and bringing out that information to people, and also juxtaposing with the information on Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ as twin flames as well.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait. And
So
then,
the book, wait a minute, hold. So the book has something to do with that epic.
well, no, the book doesn't. The documentary will a little
So
bit.
it just shows the closeness of.
Yeah, in the documentary at the moment, how we're looking at developing to make this, it's going to be told in a perspective of Lisa, and almost in a sense like it's her memoir. So
Right.
there's different areas where she's speaking and thinking about love and seeing the people around her and from there, then we go ahead and jump to another part of the story, which goes ahead and everything that she's thinking about, you start seeing through the love between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really neat. And for those of you out there who want to know if I have a twin flame, you're going to have to buy my book. Right?
The secret is in the book.
The secret is in the book, but I spill all the secrets in that book very intimately, too. It's a juicy one. 50 Shades of Grey. Not that bad.
50 Shades of Grey.
No, it's not
a whole
like that.
different topic.
Shades of Lisa.
Okay, thank you for that. So, my first person I want to introduce here, or the second actually, is Sue, and she's a twin flame priestess. So, let's have you define what, well, go ahead and say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And I want you to talk about what are the definition of twin flame.
The definition of a twin flame. In purest terms, I see the twin flame as your divine companion. And just as, like, if you think of a twin, it's a twin, it's you share a womb. A twin flame, you share the cosmic womb of where your soul was birthed.
Mm-hmm.
And the flame is the womb itself. It's the aspect from which you came, the divine spark.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically someone you've journeyed with who is such an intimate part of who you are, an extension of who you are throughout your travels, not only in your earthly lives, but even beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on a practical level here, when someone meets a twin flame, it is a profound connection that it's unexplainable, really, initially.
Uh-huh.
And it evolves into this type of relationship that is beyond anything that you've ever really experienced before, and slowly starts revealing itself to be more than just what you see on the surface.
Right.
So that's how
I like that.
But
No,
the part
she's clapping in the
part I
back.
like the best is priestess.
Right.
What does that mean?
Priestess?
Yeah.
What is a what?
Well, I know what a priestess means, but in this explanation of what you just told us, twin flame is.
Mm-hmm.
What is a priestess involved in that?
Well, priestess was a term actually that Lisa coined me with.
What is it?
I like the way it sounded.
Alright.
Because she is like a goddess, a warrior goddess, a energy source.
Oh,
Okay, let's hear from over here, Sarah Solstice, the beautiful singer. What is your definition of twin flames? How would you explain a twin flame?
A twin flame, in my perspective, I like something that you actually mentioned the other night, Lisa. It's what I feel. It's where the divine is speaking to you through the connection that you have with them. So even though this person in their human experience might not be conscious of all of the direction that you're getting, they're still playing such a vital role where something that they say is something that you were assessing earlier. There's a clear direction where it's almost as if God has showed up and is just using this person to guide you in ways that the person isn't even conscious of.
Yeah.
So it is this twin flame experience with that person. Because of that, I feel, to me, that's the biggest thing that sets the twin flame apart, because that happens on such an amplified level,
Right.
in correspondence to like a soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, Ronnie, what do you think?
Twin flame to me is basically, I don't know. There's different ways to really go about it, and I would say the best way to really bring it out is to get into what twin flames do instead of trying to explain what a twin flame is, because twin flames to me are two pairs that have a purpose together on this planet and outside of this planet and other dimensions. And with that, there's divine purpose that goes with that. And that to me is, twin flames it's just beauty, love.
Love, the definition of love. Okay, and before I ask you Well, the second part will be, and I want Sue, you to chirp in with this, of the difference between twin flames and soulmates. But before we do that, it's 111. Yay! And that is a major sign about twin flames. And it's just amazing how the three of us went out Friday night, and I posted on Facebook how we got detoured, and I was actually going south again instead of home, which is north. And all of a sudden, on this huge building in the middle of South Beach, there was 111 on the top of the clock, and it stayed there, Freddie, for 5 minutes. And we
It was a
weren't even
miracle,
drunk
truly.
or anything.
5 minutes, 111.
Right, it really did. 5 minutes, enough for me to take like 20 pictures. Oh gosh. Okay, so what's the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? And before callers call in 800-889-0267, we want to hear your opinion and input.
Okay. The difference is, well, a twin flame is a soulmate. You share a lot of incarnations. There's that familiarity and that connection that you can have, that you also have with the soulmate. And a lot of times it's difficult to differentiate between the two because it's, we're so accustomed to being in soulmate relationships, and there are so many commonalities there. But I believe that the main difference between a twin flame and a soulmate is that, first of all, the level of intensity of not only emotions, but the core issues that the relationship brings about so quickly.
Right.
Whether it's your inner child wounds and old traumas, abandonment, feeling betrayal, all of this is just like you have that immense love and connection that you've never really experienced with anyone else before. And then very immediately after comes a plethora of looking at yourself, looking at aspects of your personality or things that have been buried in your unconscious that you didn't want to deal with.
Right.
And in order for you have this instinctive knowing that if you want to merge and come together with this person truly, that you have to address these issues within yourself. It's like it's almost hardwired in you that like this has to happen before this can happen. And so
let me just jump in for people listening who are like, whoa, this is going way over my head. Let me break it down in simplistic terms. A man and a woman come together, and you have sparks and fireworks and this electricity, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Then you get together, and all of a sudden you freak out because you both are bringing up so much negative feelings within yourself that you've suppressed and pushed down so deep that you don't want to face, and you're escaping it with drugs, alcohol, sex, exercise, whatever
distractions,
it is. And because you don't want to face it and you don't want to work through it. And then you think, I got to get away from this person because why am I feeling all this when I'm with this person? This must be like an alien from another planet. And see how I'm breaking it down? Good, right?
yeah, an alien from another
This
planet.
is how I break it down in the book. It's like fitness for dummies, right? So then the two people have to realize that in order to get to a beautiful, heavenly, blissful place, you have to work through these things that people don't want to work through. But if only they knew, coming out the other side will be so much happier and peaceful and more joyful. So okay.
And that's the initial, when you meet a twin, like your twin, like the love is so profound and the connection and the veil of separation kind of dissolves momentarily and you feel that oneness. And it's almost like that's the golden carrot. and then when all your issues come up, you still have, but wait, how did this happen? Because like I've never been so connected, and it's and it can get so intense, and that's typically the pattern is twins will separate in very creative ways from what I'm hearing, and so. But it's for the purpose, and that has a purpose as well, for the healing of your own soul, for the healing of your connection to your source, to the eternal, and ultimately that is the biggest difference between a twin and a soulmate is it is about a returning to who you are, to your source. What people call it home, heaven, nirvana, whatever, you know.
Right.
And it's that's what ultimately the twin flame path is.
Now, with soulmates, they're usually soulmates are easier, like, to mesh with each other. Do you agree that soulmates, it's a easier relationship? Well, but also when you answer this, when you say soulmates and twin flames are soulmates, that's where I think people get confused. Do you feel they are the same or they're different?
I see that perspective. I think it depends on where you are along your awakened path. Because I see soulmates as you see someone in a lake, maybe, you know, the reflection is there and you see that reflection, and maybe there's a little bit of cloudiness, a little bit of rippling, some dross. And so you're working on things with that soulmate, and things are still aligned and it's still there reflecting you. But with a twin flame, it's like a mirror right in front of your face.
Yeah.
So these things are so clear, and you're like, whoa, this, this too, this too. So if you want to, there's an opportunity to work faster and progress with the twin flame if you're in a position where you don't thrive or get off on that type of thing, that type of growth. Yes, hard, difficult, too much, intense. But if you're on a path where you're like, this is what I want to grow, I want to see this, I want to do this, in that case, a twin flame could actually be quote unquote easier, because the lessons are clearer than that soulmate, that maybe we connect, we're a soulmate, and it's a little more difficult to get that message. Maybe it's not coming through as clear. So I believe it just depends on, you know, where we are in our state of interest in our own awakening.
Right. Now, is it easier for twin flames to grow and learn and evolve together or separated?
Both. You know, it's
There's
both.
not a
yeah,
difference.
Exactly. I mean, you can't separate your growth outside of you. Your growth goes with you wherever you go. You know, and so if we place our salvation in our twin, or our salvation in anything outside of us, then we're constantly chasing, you know, a pipe dream, because it's always with us.
Right.
And that's the beauty also of the twin flame, because eventually you have to look back at yourself, you know, and you got to pull back your projections, and take responsibility for your own internal state.
But maybe for what I've read about, because when I wrote the book, I studied so much about it, and this is good for you, a man's perspective. If it gets too intense, where especially men more, I would say, I'm not trying to be sexist,
Yes, you
but
are. But she looks at me. Yes, you are. I was going to ask this question, but
yeah, like the man is looking at this and thinking, oh my God, this is too intense for me. I got to get the heck out of here and run away. And the women, of course, want to communicate and talk and feel. And what do you think? Do you think that maybe sometime the men have to go away to work on themselves to come back stronger, or can they stay and work through it? What do you think?
It all depends on the individual. Everyone has different makeup. They have different karmic clearings to go through. So, depending on your personal journey, it's just whatever works best for you. What you feel works best.
So actually, men have the ability to have feelings. Whoa, that's a concept.
Of course.
Gotta go away.
The good men.
Gotta go
The
away.
good
Is that
men
what you
out
said?
there.
Gotta
no,
go away.
I said of course.
No. I
You
got
got
a
your
question.
headphones?
I got a question.
Yes.
What is it? Why? Suppose using the same concept Rhonda was just talking about, and you have a relationship that's growing, and one side grows faster than the other. Let's say that, and Sarah's laughing because she knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And let's say it's the man that grows faster than the woman in the relationship. Then what do you got?
Sue.
I can go, I mean, either way. It's, yeah, and that's a question that, frustration that I, you know, hear about a lot, is that someone always feels like they're more spiritually evolved than their twin, or their twin is less awakened. And again, you have to look at yourself. Here I am looking and seeing a mirror of someone that's less awakened. So what does that say about you?
That's tough.
You
Well,
know?
That's
and-
deep.
You know what I mean?
And let me tell you.
It's so easy to say, oh, you're less spiritual than me.
Right.
But who's the one doing the judging?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's the one looking out into the world and saying, you're spiritual and you're not, and and putting these hierarchies.
It's
And
so
it
true.
does. It says more about your own. That's why you keep looking at yourself.
And in my book, without giving too much away, I talk about someone
Which
that,
book is it?
the
First one,
second book, the only one we're talking about today. Oh no, you're right. We talked about both. No, it's so true because I felt I met someone who was going through a lot, and I thought, wow, I'm here to help that person, which is a he, not a she.
First secret revealed.
And then through time that I got to know him more, wow, I realized I'm going through as much and maybe even more than he's going through, that he brought to light without even consciously being aware about any of this, like what you just said. And it's so amazingly beautiful to me that Sue came into my life and that we all went out on Friday night and talked so deep about this. And then Saturday on her birthday, I'm feeling like she came down to do some healing and I'm going to help her heal. Well, let me tell you.
She helped you.
Yesterday on her birthday, we were on the beach for 3 hours on a beach chair, and she completely awakened me to exactly what I just said about this
Right.
whole process of this deep underlying layers that I haven't faced since childhood. And it's just, I couldn't believe it. So it all connects so much. And it really, this whole twin flame phenomenon, for those people out there listening and you're wondering, do I have a twin flame? Do I know my twin flame? And that's our second part we're going to get to. How I feel I have one. How can I say this without really saying
You have
this?
one twin flame?
Oh, yeah, well, you
do?
only have one. Yeah.
Oh, you only have one?
Of course. And how you know
Wait a
is-
minute, wait a minute. So this is like looking for a needle in a stack of needles. So you only have one twin flame.
It's the other part of your soul.
So you have to find that whole deal.
No, it finds you.
You don't have to find anything. You just live your life, and if you, like stumble into, or it comes into, like when I met mine, I had no idea what a twin flame was even, and so it's like, it was like 6 months into the relationship that I discovered the term and started reading about it.
And
I'm
that's
like,
what I was
that's
just
what's
gonna-
happening to me.
That's what I was just going to say for the people that are wondering, do I have a twin flame? When your life takes a turn from the universe without you doing anything, and all of a sudden everything you see is 1111 and signs everywhere that are very spiritual, intimate signs within yourself,
Right.
and then you start seeing twin flames this, an email, like everything came across my path, and I'm thinking, twin flames, what is a twin flame? Now I'm like the encyclopedia of twin flame study, it's
So those are
amazing.
signs that your twin flame is about to appear itself?
Well, how it works, and this is the second part we're going to get
Oh,
into,
okay.
how do you know, is usually this is what I have studied, and you guys give your input. You go through a very traumatic, life-changing experience,
Right.
like death of a loved one, or a divorce, or
Or
moving.
multiple divorces.
Yeah,
Forget
Yeah,
it.
or like a
something.
dark night of the soul too is another.
Yeah, like something so traumatic, and then you get on an airplane and you get on a ferry. Now,
And what happens?
see
This is in the book,
11, and purple and blue everywhere, and then all of
Oh,
a
you
sudden
see more signs.
you meet someone that you're like, whoa, this is weird. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
All of it is part
It's-
of the plan.
But it doesn't mean that is the flame. It could be just you meeting somebody.
well, but
growth doesn't
if
happen.
there's out of 10 signs, nine
There's
and a
the-
half.
And the one guy
there's a-
shows up coincidentally.
Well, and here's
Wow.
the most amazing thing,
Uh-huh.
and then I want to hear what you guys feel, is that it doesn't mean you always end up with your twin flame. It means that you meet someone in your life who opened your eyes to unconditional love, and it's a person you care about so much, you want them happy, whether you're with them or not. It's not about, oh my God, I need this person, I want this person, and I'm going to be with this person forever. It's a person that you just send love to, and want them to be well.
Okay.
Okay, so what are the signs about, how do you know?
Well, it's,
that-
I know, in response to what Freddie said, it's
Yeah.
just not mere coincidence. And that's one of the aspects that you're like, okay, I'm in a relationship here that's out of the ordinary, and the synchronicities is just beyond 11:11. They're so personal and intimate.
Yes.
When you start seeing it, that only you, it's like you know that the divine is speaking to
That's
you,
what I'm
like
saying
with the
with the blue
color,
and the purple,
exactly,
that's what
you
I
know.
meant, yeah.
And so to anybody, it's just like, oh, that's the blue and purple, you know,
Right.
this. But to you, you start seeing it, and that's what you know. It's just such a commonality. You experience these like monumental synchronicities that you know for like, this is beyond strange. You know, you
Yes.
got my attention, universe.
It's
you
like
got my
knocking
attention.
you over kind
It's
of
knocking
stuff.
you exactly, and
Yeah.
then and that's why it's such a, you know, associated synchronicity with twin flame, because that's the way, you know, like, pay attention, look, you know, something is happening here, and so initially that's the beauty and the magic, and you feel like you're just swept away into this, you know, fairy tale romance is what it feels like.
But you don't necessarily have to, it's going to be that you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. It
Right.
could be that they awaken you, like you
Exactly,
said.
right.
You could find somebody who sort of gets your head straight.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean that you're going to end up marrying this person and having 27
No.
children, right?
right?
Most twins do not get married and do not have children, the majority, because when you get into a soul contract of a marriage with, like, have kids and do all that, then like it goes a whole different direction. Like, the twin flame connection is about clearing your issues, clearing your energy channels and your traumas, so you can be love more unconditionally, not only your twin but humanity, and be of greater service. It's about the collective instead of the individual couple.
Pretty cool.
No,
I didn't see that coming.
yeah. No, I never heard of that about not getting married and the kids and all that. I didn't. What are your thoughts of that subject? Like, do the majority of twin flames get together or not?
Well, I guess as far as majority, I think something Freddie said too, like, how do you know? What if it's just this? Well, the thing is, a lot of people have these experiences here on the Earth planet. We're like taking notes, coming together. This happens for me, this happens for me too. So that's why this is like a term. It's called twin flame, and we compare that this is what happens. So I feel that, yes, I feel a similar way. As far as majority, I wouldn't really know what the percentage is, but I've also heard that a lot and experienced that a lot with people that I've talked to. And I like how we say, like, you are swept away in that moment with that person, but I feel that you stay swept away, right? So
Yeah.
you are swept away, you stay eternally forever in love because of that person, with that person, and then with all of humanity and with all of existence. So then you just end up in this cosmic love of everything. So you are together with them on the
But that's a
soul level.
mental state of mind. It doesn't mean physically
Spiritual,
Heart
too.
state, soul
Right.
state, man.
Well, you know, that's really difficult, because there's a balance. You know, you may meet somebody who's not available, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm awake. This person really does it for me. And they may not be available physically. They may be in another marriage or something.
Right.
So you
Or
sort of,
another realm.
yeah. So you
Right.
got to be. Well, in your case, many realms.
You
But
gotta
the
work through
bottom
that.
line here is you got to work through that psychologically. So you got to, you know, when you're looking at yourself, makes a whole lot of sense. The way you
And
put
see
it.
what you just said. You have to work through that psychologically. That is the key right there. And then we're going to take a commercial break. Is that the twin flame coming into your life? Are you seeing the signs and finding your twin flame awakened you psychologically, spiritually, physically to heal yourself and to heal others? So it is definitely that. Good job, Freddie.
Well, I'm learning. This is not easy to comprehend, because there's two sides to the psychology here. You got to know
Yeah.
yourself a little bit, and this forces you to learn yourself even more.
Yes,
And then how you apply it is going to change in your whole life.
exactly.
Stuff.
And with that,
Good
we'll
stuff.
go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
What if protecting ourselves against the ravages of Alzheimer's disease was as easy as drinking a bottle bottle of water every day. It's possible. Recent studies at some of the world's leading research universities are showing a strong connection between elevated levels of aluminum in the brain and Alzheimer's disease. Mineral water that is rich in silica, like Fiji or Volvic brand bottled waters, can help flush aluminum from our bodies naturally. So indeed, drinking a bottle of silica-rich water every day has the potential to both prevent Alzheimer's disease and to treat those who have been recently diagnosed with it. Aluminum is toxic to all life forms, and in today's world, we are exposed to over 50 times more aluminum than previous generations. Currently, not only are we seeing more people suffering from Alzheimer's disease, but we're seeing a sharp increase in younger people contracting the disease, and it is progressing more rapidly. Silica is an essential nutrient and provides us with protection from aluminum toxicity, and it's not patentable. That means the big drug companies will make no money from it, and therefore they are unwilling to fund continued research despite its promising findings. But what if preventing Alzheimer's disease really was as simple as drinking a bottle of water? What would it be worth to you and your loved ones to find out? At the Children's Medical Safety Research Institute, they fund research to find causes, cures, and treatments for autoimmune diseases like Alzheimer's that affect all ages. Please visit cmsri.org to find out how you can help.
According to the CDC and the FDA, after receiving the HPV vaccine, thousands of young women have reported convulsions, crippling fatigue, paralysis, blindness, and other severe reactions.
In 2013, one of the developers of the HPV vaccine admitted on air that more than 70 young girls were known to have died after being vaccinated.
Recently, the American Academy of Pediatricians issued a warning about the HPV vaccine, Gardasil, causing premature menopause and ovarian failure in young women.
In 2013, Japan became the first country to withdraw its recommendation for the HPV vaccine.
Denmark now has 5 regional uptake facilities for girls who were healthy before they received HPV shots and are now exhibiting serious medical harm.
The makers of the HPV vaccine claim it protects against ovarian cancer from developing in 20 to 30 years, but the vaccine was approved after less than 5 years of testing.
It's okay to ask questions about vaccine safety. Learn more at cmsri.org, paid for by the Children's Medical Safety Research Institute.
At Pain Care Specialists of Florida, their goal is to provide unparalleled patient care. To do so, they focus on the physical progress, as well as the emotional well-being of their patients. With an emphasis on personalized and compassionate yet cost-effective treatment, they individually monitor all of their patients to ensure their continued progress. All patients first undergo a thorough assessment to determine the issues contributing to their pain symptoms. Then, an individualized, comprehensive treatment plan is developed, targeted to their specific problem. Pain Care Specialists of Florida utilizes the most advanced proven technologies in order to help their patients quickly return to work and full productive lives. You don't have to endure pain. Call Pain Specialists of Florida at 954-322-8586. That's 954-322-8586. You are transforming your mind, body, and spirit with fitness professional and life coach Lisa Dwoskin. You can call in at any time, toll free, 1-800-889-0267 to speak with Lisa. Now let's get back to this week's show.
Okay, we're back. Okay, Freddie, since you're such a huge part of this show today, go ahead with the question.
Well, my question
I love it.
Well, my question was, what if you meet somebody and you fall in love with them, and you go and you tell them, listen, I'm in love with you in this realm. I'm not talking about, I want to go play hide the banana, nothing like that. I'm talking about this realm, and they punch you in the face because they go, I don't. A guy to a girl, if a guy says this to a girl, she has a right to be insulted or what, not understanding. So what do? Never tell the person?
Well, I personally feel that you don't ever tell the person. You let them figure it out themselves.
What if they never do?
I mean, you tell the person how you feel, but you don't be like, hey, I know you've never heard this term twin flame, but by the way, you're my twin flame, destiny, soulmate. They'll be like, if they're not into it, that'll knock them on their feet. They need to figure it out themselves, and believe me, they do.
But you never had a friendship with somebody that's real tight. It's funny. My son has a friendship with a female. And a lot of what you're saying today is beginning to make sense to me all of a sudden. And I didn't understand what that's all about. It's his best friend. Since they were, I think, 9 years old, they've been best friends.
Right.
And because it's male female, I look at it as a different deal. I says, what's going on here? And I can see that. But I'm talking about if somebody is in the realm and somebody isn't. And as one of the signs, I guess you don't say nothing.
No, well, and you were gonna ask Ronnie. Go ahead.
Ronnie, well, how would you treat, and being the other guy in the set here, how would you treat that?
Just deal with it, because
Not say nothing.
yeah, you have to deal with it, because there's so much that other individual needs to go through, and also that you need to go through before that can actually come to be. So by going out and saying things like that, in a sense, it takes the magic out of it, because now you're forcing, manipulating, you're creating words. So it's just by letting a divine plan play out before you.
Well, and that's everything, the divine plan, because, and I know Sue's going to add a lot to this, when twin flames do meet, they really can't fully be together until they work through what they need to work through individually, or maybe they do get together and then work through it. But like you can't expedite it, and you can't be God. You have to send the person unconditional love and light and prayers and love them from afar, and when they're ready they'll come to you, and if they're not, they won't, and then life goes on, and maybe the next lifetime you'll be with them in another realm.
So wait a minute. So then you don't acknowledge it, and you go about your business, and you meet other people.
Well, okay, but you can acknowledge it and tell the person, but you're not gonna like say, okay, now leave whoever you're with and come with me because I'm your twin flame, and you're going to find true heavenly bliss and happiness,
Right.
which all could be true, but the person needs to figure that out themselves.
I see.
Right?
Tricky stuff.
Yes.
Tricky stuff.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, there aren't any rules. You can say it. And how you go about it. It can overwhelm someone if you're like, oh my God, you're my twin flame, and we have to do this and this and this and this. And if it's especially with the feminine, because we are such caretakers,
right,
and more in tune with the emotional realm, and we tend to overfunction and okay, read this and do this and fix this, and then we can be together. You know what I mean?
That's a woman talking, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. And then the guy's like, bye. Like, this is way too. Exactly.
Like a deer with headlights, right?
Yeah, and so.
How come we get such a negative rap? Why is that?
Well, it can just be too much, because not only are you dealing with your own intense emotions but now it's like piling in, and then you're like things are coming up within you that you're not ready to look at, perhaps. And
exactly.
And so there aren't any rules, but yes, how you make the choices of how you go about it does tremendously affect like how the relationship unfolds. And so what I see that is almost like hardwired into this type of relationship is like letting go and trusting and surrendering to a higher power. Yeah. Because if your ego tries to take the wheel and like, okay, I'm gonna do this and this and this, it's gonna explode in your face. Like, it's not like you have to surrender to a higher aspect. And that's why sometimes it feels like there's circumstances that are so beyond your control that are keeping you from your twin that you have no choice but to surrender. But that's the beauty of it. That's why it's created in this way, because it's about your connection to your source.
Yeah.
And therefore your connection to your beloved.
And I have a question for Sarah. For the people listening who are not connected to source, and they're not connected within themselves, they're disconnected, but they want to be connected, and they want to find themselves, love themselves, and have a better life, give our listeners some advice. How can they change things in their life, make the shift?
In general, or in relation to twin flame soulmate? In general.
I think in general, because that, yeah, in general.
Beautiful. I love this because it's always about the presence. It's always about paying attention to what is in this moment right now. Because that's where we have access to our source, or whatever we want to call it, love, God. It's always going to be right here in our experience. So tuning into signs that we see, tuning into things that we hear, people that we see, situations that are happening for us, becoming more attentive to just what's going on, I think is a beautiful first step for a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
what did happen? Did I notice that even when it did happen? Becoming more conscious of just what's going on moment to moment is going to walk you easily into your connection to Source.
And don't you feel that even if they're not open or ready, the universe and a higher being kind of makes it happen? Kind of, not
Pushes them through.
forcefully,
Yes.
but
Kind
pushes
of gives
them.
you a little,
Indeed.
yeah.
And
right?
especially if, like you said, if they are interested.
Mhm.
So exactly what you said, if they have an interest, it's going to start happening.
And even like when my first book, when I talk about my business, getting rid of my business, divorcing my husband, and moving all within a matter of 4 weeks, I really was being stubborn and holding on to everything with such a tight grip. And then I had to have like my third surgery in my life. And it was almost like God and the universe just totally knocked me on my, you know what, I'm not allowed to swear
Your
on here.
derriere.
Yeah, and forced me into, okay, I gave you a heart issue and you had to have heart surgery. I did this. You never listened to what I am telling you. Now I'm going to knock you on your butt. And then you have to change,
And
and
now
that's
you're a
exactly
life
what
coach.
happened, right? And it changed my whole life around. So it's true. You need like a little bit of a push because there are so many people out there who do see the signs and are wanting so bad to change, but they do nothing about it because they're so stuck in such a negative spiral.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bad norm. Which is usually what happens. People, they don't make a change.
Right.
They wait till change comes to the door. It's like ordering a pizza. You know, you order pizza, comes to the door.
Exactly.
But changing, I mean, what you do is you transform people's lives every day, just from the gym perspective. Now you're working on the mind perspective. People just can't relate,
Yeah, it's
especially in
difficult.
today's day.
Right.
You know, I look at Sarah, she's like a throwback from the 60s, man. I'm going to tell you, such a young girl. And, you know, what's happening is that maybe the message will be reached if the millenniums get involved and
Yes,
comes
I
out
think.
with it.
And we have about 15 minutes left, 10 or 15 minutes. So this is the most important part, I feel, of the whole show, is now that everybody understands the twin flame phenomenon, that's a tongue twister, and call in 800-889-0267 if you want to talk to us. We have so many callers, there's like 10 ringing. No, with this whole phenomenon of twin flames, how, and I want you to answer, Sue, how does it relate to changing the whole world as a whole, the collective, raising the level of conscious awareness of people?
Right.
Because that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. I mean, whether you believe it or not, the truth is we're all connected. Like quantum physics is proving that left and right. Like
Right.
there is no separation. Whether it goes back to to what extent do you believe that connection, you know? And so in regards to twin flame, we may not necessarily all be seeking the connection to the divine, but we're all kind of seeking a connection with another human being. And we all want, even the love songs, like the most profound, extraordinary love affair you could ever imagine that the Sufi poets wrote about, you know? And so when the beauty of the twin flame that helps the collective is that it brings about in its own path, its own spiritual path, connecting to the divine. And when you do that, you bring more love and light on the planet.
Yes.
You know, because it's no longer ego driven. It's driven from something beyond yourself that's includes everyone.
Which I love. Okay, yay, we have a caller. Let's get this caller. That was beautiful. Thank you. Now, is this Bronwyn? Is that your name? Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. How do you say your name?
It's Bronwyn.
Oh,
A
okay.
little
I
unusual.
said it right. Yeah, pretty name. So how are you?
Thank
Do you have a
you.
question for one of us or all of us?
Yeah, and I didn't have a question. I was like, well, a little bit. I was just so intrigued by what you guys are discussing today because it's something I'm going through in my life right now. I have what I thought was my soulmate, and we've been together for 4 years, and we met. It was electric, and it was beautiful, and we were both in a positive place in our life. And over the years, we've had a lot of problems arise, just typical, not typical, but like a house fire and, deaths in the family and such. And we've had a disconnect. And I didn't realize until I listened to your show today about the twin flames, about what's going on with us, until I heard you guys talk today. So it was just so moving. And I wanted to call and thank you guys because we're both going to read this book. And it just makes so much sense to me now.
That's beautiful.
You just gave me chills. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys so much because it's going to, absolutely like tears in my eyes. It gives me hope and realizing that we let all these negative things impact our spirituality, and it just made everything so heavy that we couldn't figure out why we weren't getting along anymore. And he's changed into a very positive person. He stopped smoking and drinking. He's jogging. He's going to church. All these positive things. And I got buried with work, so we're on different planes completely. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much. I'm going to read that book that you wrote.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Have a beautiful
Great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's interesting. She also touched on another subject because today you got to have two people working to make things work, your bills and what have you.
Right.
If 50 an hour don't go too far.
Right.
But the bottom line is, with all that pressure on a relationship, it's amazing anybody can stay together. So that becomes part of what you guys are talking about on the set.
Right.
And, she's buried. He's trying to change. There's a lot of stuff going on.
So much. And, a really important point, and then I want to get to you guys about the last part, how we're going to help save the world. But a lot of people out there who do find info about twin flames, because Twin Flame 1111 and a couple of sites, they have this negative connotation too, like, oh God, I found my twin flame, this is too hard, I can't deal with this, there's going to be karmic debt and bad stuff. And it's not true, because a lot of twin flames find each other and it's beautiful and it works peacefully and they can work together and all this stuff comes up. So for those of you listening, don't think it's a curse to find your twin flame. It's a beautiful thing. It's just the universe and God showing you that you have things to work with that you haven't within yourself.
It's not a curse to look at yourself and deal with your shadows and things that you didn't want to look at.
It's a blessing.
And it can be extremely painful, and you can feel like you're like, I don't want to do this,
right?
But it's a blessing.
That
it's coming out, that you're feeling it, you're releasing it.
Yes.
And you feel lighter afterwards.
Right. Okay, Ronnie. So, how do you feel the twin flame whole phenomenon can help?
Well, it helps people because, for one, you're healing yourself. And that alone, by healing yourself, you're helping shift the vibration of the planet. So that is a huge part of it. But then if twin flames get together, then there's one thing that we didn't even talk about. It's just the cultivation of energy. And when two twin flames are together and the energy starts circulating together, that gives you the most direct feeling to source. And just from the research that I've been reading, so that in itself puts out an electric magnitude that helps shift the planet, helps shift the vibration of the planet.
Right. Now, what material have you been reading about twin flames? Different books that I have tons of ebooks that just pop up out of nowhere. I don't even know where they come from. I just find them somehow. Did you learn anything from Soulful Love?
Oh yeah, of course. I learned a lot about you.
No, but remember too, you were like, wow, I think you called me one day and you said, I've done a lot of research on twin flames, but I wrote something in there that you didn't even know. Oh yeah, that was so long ago, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't either, but okay. Anyway, we have about 5 minutes. So I want to hear, I love, when this girl talks, she doesn't talk a lot, like Sue and I are chatterboxes. She's so quiet and peaceful, but when she talks, it really, I want to tell you, honestly, I feel almost like this higher power comes into your body and comes out of your mouth, and it like knocks me back a little bit. Really, and you articulate your words so eloquently. It's beautiful. No wonder why you're a singer. So you better knock these people's socks off right now.
She's very observant. I noticed
She's
that when
amazing to
she'll
me.
sit there and she watches. And
She
then before
does.
she speaks, she's going to talk to you in a language that you understand, which
Oh,
is very
I love
unique.
it.
It's very different.
I just one last thing. We're at a very nice place on Miami Beach Friday night, and I'm looking around at all these people just like materialistic a bit, and I'm sorry I am saying this, but not deep people. And then I look at our table, the three of us, before our other friend arrived, which was deep as well. And the conversations that we're having at this table could have definitely put a whole show together on higher consciousness and mindfulness and just deep, beautiful, meaningful conversations to have instead of just like going out and drinking and partying and not even talking. Is just a beautiful thing, really. I love being around you guys. Go ahead.
I love you guys so much.
It's
also,
great.
It's fun, so fun to talk about
Yeah,
these types of
life-changing.
things. Yes. So I think for this final point, I was thinking of what Freddie said when he said, what if the person, how do you tell that person? And I thought, when we do take it seriously and reflect back upon ourselves, and if we make that rapid progress or that intense progress, we're just going to watch them change so easily.
That's right.
That's how they do change, because we do have this power. So as far as changing the world, it always comes back to what Sue said, us all being connected, and there is just that oneness. So when we reflect on ourselves and take this seriously, fun, with a lightness, we can change this world easily as an individual, as an empowered individual that knows our access to our own divinity. Easy peasy. The world is ascended, changed. So it's for my expression right now, I'm saying this.
I love it.
Yay.
So what do you think, Freddie?
Well, touching on what Ronnie was talking about, energy is different. Everybody in here has a different energy source. And to be able to sit in Miami Beach and be able to express to people who don't realize, they're not in any realm. And you got to be able to express without teaching. You ever heard that? You have to be able to show them who they are and help them get to where they got to be without teaching that. And that's the trick of humanity. You know, and I think what the Sarah's talking about right here is that it's easy when you're in a room and everybody is on the same page. But then you got to go out there in the real world. And to teach this in the real world, this ain't easy. It must be really difficult to be in a relationship with you, with Sue.
With me?
Yeah.
Well, let's call my twin and ask him. Put him on the spot.
You're right. But the bottom line here, it must be hard because you are in a different realm, and a person comes in. If they're not in that realm when you first met.
He's totally in that realm, and
she
he's
wouldn't be with the person.
he's very, very spiritual, and so that makes it so much easier when you can use the same, dialogue, and and just like, and it does. If you're in different, and sometimes twins are different
Totally
cultures,
different.
different religions. The challenges are immense.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and you know what? What I was talking about in South Beach, we met with a friend of mine, Michael Capone, who runs the deck there, that we were in Miami Beach. And when he came over to our table, he immediately said, wow, I can feel the energy of healing at this table before we even spoke. So when you live this way of life and breathe it and you manifest it, people around you feel it.
But that's what's going on in this room right now.
Yeah, the energy, like what Ronnie said, the energy fields, the vibrational level goes up to an extreme.
And that's why you have to take responsibility for your own internal state, and therefore it affects the collective. And so if you get groups like this, and then the group gets larger, and then larger, and then larger, and so it just snowballs.
Yes, I love it. So we have about 2 minutes. Go ahead, Carol, talk.
I want to say it's my last show. I love you guys so much.
Yeah, Carol won't be on Sundays.
I know, we're going to miss you. And she gives us so much positive feedback, but thank you. And haven't you learned a lot from the topics that we talk about? Oh, we got one last caller. I don't know if we have time. No? Okay. All right. So, wow. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad you were here on your birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Oh,
You want to close out with a little birthday song to her, Sarah?
Well, you know, it's interesting going out. So the other night, it's loud. There's loud music.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking loud, just like you talking so much. Like my vocals are different.
Oh,
we could all
yeah,
sing
yeah.
together.
No, we won't sing. Maybe we should read that quote that we posted today on Facebook. The one that you did on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. That'll be
Who
a
posted
nice.
that?
I did, and then
yeah.
Sue did. Okay, so we're going to end with this. Thank you all so much. And get ready, guys, for the film documentary by Ronaldo Bahama. No. That's my new last name for
It's
you.
a sign. You should do it in the Bahamas.
Right, do it in the Bahamas. We didn't even get to the intimacy between twin flames. That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
That was going to be the show.
Stay
So,
tuned.
we do not meet people by accident. They are meant to cross our path for a reason. And it's a reason to make your life better and make you more mindful and be more peaceful and joyful and live a happier and healthier life, right?
Yes.
Any last words, guys?
Thank you, Lisa, for bringing us all together and for having an interest in these things and sharing these things.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for sharing and teaching and guiding as well. And Freddie, you?
I think I learned a lot today. It wasn't that, it's funny, when you put shows together, you never know which direction they're going to go.
And they always work out
when you
perfect.
bring energy like this together, it works pretty good.
It really is amazing. I think this whole show came together from a higher source because I didn't even have a career in radio. I was thrown into all this, and it's working out beautifully, right?
Excellent.
And it'll soon be maybe coming to TV too, hopefully, with Mr. Lawrence Taylor.
Well, we'll see.
And myself. So anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for listening. Believe in yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, eat healthy, exercise, and we'll see you next week. Have a beautiful day. Bye.